The repair station floated quietly at the edge of human space, its worn metal walls telling stories of countless fixes and patches. Tom Walker wiped the sweat from his forehead as he finished welding a support beam. 20 years of fixing ships had left his hands rough, and his face weathered, but his eyes still sparkled with the same excitement he had felt on his first day as a mechanic. Station log. Another quiet day. He muttered to himself, placing his old toolbox back in its familiar corner. The station wasn't much to look at, just 3 connected modules with a small docking bay. But to Tom, it was home. The emergency alarm shattered the peaceful silence. Red lights flashed across the control room as Tom rushed to check the screens. An unknown ship was approaching, broadcasting a distress signal on all frequencies. "This is Repair Station 47, Tom responded, his voice calm and professional. "State your emergency." The answer came in broken Universal Standard. The speaker's voice filled with panic. "Engine failure. Systems critical. Need immediate assistance." Tom's eyes widened as the ship came into view. It was like nothing he had ever seen before. Sleek, almost organic in design, with surfaces that seemed to shimmer and change color. This was clearly alien technology, far more advanced than anything humans had built. The ship docked with a gentle thud, and Tom grabbed his toolbox. As the airlock cycled, he took a deep breath. First contact with a new alien species was always tricky, especially when repairs were needed. The inner door opened to reveal a tall figure with iridescent skin and 4 arms. The alien's eyes, all 3 of them, blinked rapidly as they looked down at Tom. "You are the repair specialist?" the alien asked, mandibles clicking nervously. Tom nodded, already walking around the ship's exterior. "Name's Tom Walker. What seems to be the problem with her?" "Our quantum fold drive is malfunctioning. The automated systems cannot identify the issue, and our diagnostics." The alien stopped as Tom knocked on the engine housing with a simple wrench, listening carefully. "There's your problem," Tom said, pointing to a seemingly normal section of the hull. "Your power distribution is out of sync, probably caused by a microfracture in the containment field." The alien's 3 eyes blinked in confusion. "How can you know this?" "You have no quantum scanners, no field harmonizers." Tom chuckled, pulling a flashlight from his pocket. "Don't need him." "That knocking sound is all wrong. Too high-pitched. Plus, the hull's vibrating at the wrong frequency right here." He tapped the spot again. "Been fixing ships long enough to know when something's not right." The alien watched in fascination as Tom opened his toolbox. Inside were basic tools: wrenches, hammers, screwdrivers, and a few welding devices. Nothing like the advanced repair systems they were used to. "But these are primitive tools," the alien said, trying to be polite. "Sometimes the old ways work best," Tom replied, already removing a panel. "Simple tools mean you understand the basics, and the basics are universal, whether you're fixing a car on Earth or a quantum drive in space." Over the next 2 hours, Tom worked steadily, using his basic tools with expert precision. He found the microfracture exactly where he predicted, sealed it with a specialized compound of his own making, and realigned the power distribution system using nothing more complex than a modified multimeter. The alien crew gathered to watch, amazed as their ship's systems came back online one by one. Their advanced diagnostic tools finally recognized the fix, confirming what Tom had identified by sound and touch alone. "This is remarkable," the captain said, looking at their readings. "Our best repair stations couldn't identify the problem, yet you fixed it with these simple tools." Tom shrugged, cleaning his hands with an old rag. "Sometimes the fanciest scanner in the universe can't beat good old-fashioned experience and common sense. Besides, machines are machines. They all follow the same basic rules, no matter how advanced they get." As the alien ship prepared to leave, the captain turned to Tom one last time. "We will tell others about this place, about your unique abilities. You may be seeing more of our kind." Tom smiled, watching the magnificent ship power up its restored engines. All are welcome here. A broken ship is a broken ship, doesn't matter who built it. The alien vessel departed, leaving Tom alone again in his quiet station. He made a final log entry before heading to bed, unaware that this simple repair would soon change the course of human-alien relations forever. Station log, supplemental. Fixed a quantum drive today. Might need to stock up on more duct tape. 3 months after fixing the quantum drive, Tom Walker couldn't believe his eyes. His once quiet repair station now had ships queued up at every docking port, with more waiting in orbit. Vessels of all shapes and sizes filled the space around Station 47, their designs as varied as the species that flew them. Another one incoming, called Pete Ross, the young mechanic Tom had hired last week. The station's growth had forced him to expand his team, and Pete was the first of 4 new hires. Says they heard about us from a trader in the Centauri sector. Tom nodded, finishing up his work on a crystalline engine core. Tell them standard wait time is 6 hours. We're backed up, but we'll get to them. The current ship's captain, a being that looked like a walking collection of glowing orbs, floated nearby. Most fascinating, it hummed. Our finest repair yards take days to diagnose problems. Yet you humans complete repairs in hours, using such basic tools. Sometimes simpler is better, Tom replied, closing the engine housing. Your crystal drive is good to go. Just remember what I said about not pushing it past 80% capacity. As the ship departed, Tom took a moment to survey his expanded station. 2 new repair bays had been added, built from parts salvaged from abandoned human ships. It wasn't pretty, but it worked, just like everything else humans made. The station's comm system crackled. Station 47. This is the merchant vessel Star Dreamer. We have an urgent situation. The voice sounded worried, even through the universal translator. Go ahead, Star Dreamer, Tom responded, already reaching for his toolbox. Our navigation system is completely dead. We're running on backup power, and life support is failing. We heard you could help. Tom looked at his schedule pad, then at the line of waiting ships. Pete, take over Bay 2. This is an emergency. He turned back to the comm. Star Dreamer, proceed to Emergency Bay 1. We'll get you sorted. The ship that limped into view was massive. A luxury merchant vessel bigger than Tom's entire station. Its sleek hull was dark, with only emergency lights flickering weakly. As it docked, Tom could feel the irregular vibrations through the station's floor. Temperatures dropping fast, reported the ship's captain, a tall insectoid being. Our best engineers couldn't fix it. They said the system architecture is too damaged to repair. Tom walked around the ship's bridge, his experienced eyes taking everything in. He pulled out his old flashlight, tapping various panels and listening carefully. Your navigation system isn't the real problem, he said after a few minutes. It's just a symptom. Your main power core is out of alignment. The alien crew exchanged confused looks, but our diagnostics show the power core is functioning normally. One of them chittered. Your diagnostics are wrong, Tom said simply, opening a maintenance hatch. See these wear patterns. Your core shifted about 3 millimeters during your last jump. Not enough for your sensors to detect, but enough to throw everything else off. Over the next 4 hours, Tom and his team realigned the power cord using nothing more complex than hydraulic jacks and precision measuring tools. The aliens watched in amazement as their ship's systems came back online one by one. This is incredible, the captain said, reviewing the ship's readings. All systems are operating at peak efficiency. How did you know? Tom wiped his hands on his coveralls. Experience. When you've worked on enough ships, you start to see patterns. Everything's connected. One small problem can cause bigger issues elsewhere. Fancy diagnostic tools are great, but sometimes you need to rely on your basic senses. As word of the Star Dreamer's repair spread, even more ships began arriving at Station 47. Tom's comm system was flooded with requests from across the galaxy. That evening, as he updated the station's log, Tom smiled to himself. Station log. Hired 2 more mechanics today. Might need to add another bay soon. Who would have thought that being primitive would become our greatest advantage? The station hummed quietly around him, the sound of ongoing repairs mixing with the chatter of dozens of alien species. Humanity's reputation was growing, one fixed ship at a time, and Tom Walker's little repair station was leading the way. Oh, and note to self, he added to the log, order more duct tape. Lots more duct tape. The message that appeared on Tom's screen one morning made him frown. He read it twice, then called his team together. The Galactic Engineering Guild wants to test us, he announced to the group gathered in the station's break room. The room, once a storage closet, was now filled with mechanics from Earth. They say our repair methods are dangerously primitive and need to be evaluated. Pete looked up from his coffee. They can't shut us down, can they? We've fixed hundreds of ships. They're sending their most advanced vessel, Tom continued, scratching his gray stubble. Says here they've created special problems for us to solve. If we fail, they'll ban us from working on any guild-certified ships. Mary Thompson, the station's newest mechanic, snorted. So they're rigging the test against us. Typical bureaucrats. The guild's ship arrived 3 days later. It was beautiful. A massive vessel that seemed to be made of liquid metal, it tall shifting and flowing like quicksilver. A delegation of guild engineers stepped out, their environmental suits decorated with complex symbols showing their rank. We are here to evaluate your facility, announced the lead engineer, his translator making his voice sound metallic. We have prepared 17 separate malfunctions in our systems. You have 12 hours to identify and repair them all. Tom walked slowly around the ship, his old boots clanking on the deck. He pulled out his flashlight, tapped a few panels, and listened. After 5 minutes, he turned to the guild engineers. You've got more than 17 problems, he said calmly. I count 23, and some of them are starting to cascade. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. One checked a complex scanning device. Impossible. Our diagnostics show exactly 17. A warning alarm cut through the air. The ship's hull rippled, and one section began to discolor. That would be the power surge I noticed, Tom said, already opening his toolbox. Your deliberate malfunctions are starting to interact with each other. Mary, check the aft section. Pete, get ready with the electromagnetic dampers. This could get interesting. The next 10 hours were a blur of activity. The human mechanics worked steadily, using their simple tools and experience to tackle problems that the guild's own diagnostic systems couldn't even detect. They found issues inside issues, repairs that needed repairs, and systems that were seconds away from catastrophic failure. How did you know the quantum matrix was misaligned? One guild engineer asked, watching Tom adjust something with what looked like a modified car jack. Our sensors showed it was perfect. The vibration was wrong, Tom replied, not looking up. Quantum matrices have a specific hum. This one sounded like a tired cat instead of a happy one. The guild engineers took frantic notes as the humans worked. They were especially amazed when Mary fixed a plasma conduit using only a piece of rubber hose and what appeared to be primitive heat-resistant tape. But those materials shouldn't be able to contain plasma, protested one engineer. Maybe somebody forgot to tell the plasma that, Mary replied with a grin. With 1 hour to spare, Tom closed the last panel. That should do it. 23 problems fixed, plus 3 more that developed because of the original malfunctions. Want us to document everything we found. The lead guild engineer stared at their own diagnostic readings in disbelief. According to their instruments, the ship was now operating at 110% efficiency, better than when it was new. This is unprecedented, the engineer admitted. We owe you an apology, Mr. Walker. Your methods may be unusual, but their effectiveness is undeniable. Tom shrugged. No apology needed. Just remember, sometimes the best solution is the simple one. Now, who's going to help me document all this? My old paper logbook is getting full. As the guild engineers left, thoroughly humbled, Tom's team celebrated quietly in the break room. They had proven that humanity's primitive methods weren't just good enough. They were often better than the most advanced alien technology. Station log, Tom recorded later, passed the guild's test, ordered more logbooks, and yes, more duct tape. The success against the engineering guild brought even more ships to Station 47. Tom stood in the new observation deck, watching the steady stream of vessels coming and going. The station had grown to 5 times its original size, but they still barely kept up with demand. "Tom, we've got a weird one," Pete called over the intercom. "Bay 4, you're going to want to see this." In Bay 4, Tom found something that made even his experienced jaw drop. The ship looked like a giant glass snowflake, its crystalline structure catching and reflecting light in beautiful patterns. But right now, parts of it were turning an ugly brown color. "Never seen anything like it," Pete said, scratching his head. "The crew says it's a living ship, grown rather than built. They use sunlight for power, but something's making it sick." Tom walked around the ship, his mind racing back to his grandfather's greenhouse. "Reminds me of plant diseases," he muttered. "Pete, get me the ultraviolet lamp from Bay 2. The ship's crew, beings that looked like walking clouds, watched anxiously as Tom shined the UV light across their vessel's surface. The brown sections glowed with a faint green tinge. "Just as I thought," Tom said, pulling out his tablet. "Your ship's got space algae, similar to what grows on Earth's spacecraft, but this is attacking your ship's crystal structure." The alien captain's cloudy form swirled in confusion. "But our ships are not made of Earth materials. How can you be sure?" "Because living things follow patterns," Tom explained, already mixing chemicals in a spray bottle. "My granddad taught me about plant diseases in his greenhouse. This is similar to a fungus that attacks glass plants on Earth. The treatment should be similar too." He demonstrated his solution to the amazed aliens. The spray, a simple mixture based on an old Earth gardening formula, cleared the brown sections within minutes. The ship's crystal structure began glowing healthily again. Word of this repair spread quickly through the galaxy. Soon, Station 47 wasn't just fixing mechanical problems. They were treating living ships, energy beings, and technology that seemed more like magic than machinery. One afternoon, Tom found Mary staring at a holographic engine that refused to hold its form. "Having trouble?" he asked. "Can't figure it out," she admitted. "The matrix is stable, but the projection keeps failing. Their diagnostic tools show nothing wrong." Tom picked up an old mirror from his toolbox. "Let's see what we're missing." He positioned the mirror at different angles around the holographic engine, watching how the light behaved. "There, see that ripple? The base crystal has a hairline crack. Light's leaking out." Mary blinked. "How can you fix a crystal that's quantum locked?" "Same way you fix a cracked windshield," Tom grinned, pulling out a small tool. "A bit of resin in the right spot, cure it with UV light, and polish it smooth." The repair worked perfectly. The alien engineers who watched took notes furiously, amazed at how an ancient Earth technique for fixing car windows could repair their advanced quantum technology. That evening, Tom held a team meeting. "We're getting more requests than we can handle," he announced. "But more importantly, we're learning something new with every repair." He pulled out a thick notebook filled with sketches and notes. "I've been documenting everything. Every trick, every solution, every bit of Earth knowledge that helped fix alien tech. I think it's time we started teaching others." Pete looked at the notebook, a repair manual for the galaxy. "More than that," Tom said, his eyes twinkling. "A way to show that human ingenuity and alien technology can work together. Sometimes the old ways and the new ways combine to make something better than either alone." The team nodded in agreement. They had proven that humanity's so-called primitive methods weren't holding them back. They were pushing them forward. "Station log," Tom recorded later. "Started writing the manual today. Had to fix the computer with duct tape first, though. Some things never change. The alarm woke Tom at 3 in the morning, its urgent blaring different from the usual repair requests. He rushed to the control room, still pulling on his work boots. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace, Pete reported, his face pale in the screen's glow. Hundreds of them, all broadcasting distress signals. The main screen showed a terrifying sight. A massive fleet of refugee ships limped toward Station 47, many of them trailing debris. Some were so damaged they were being towed by others. "This is Station 47, Tom broadcast. How can we help?" A tired voice responded. "Thank the stars. We've traveled halfway across the galaxy looking for you. Our home system's sun went unstable. We evacuated everyone we could, but our ships..." The voice cracked. "We're failing. Life support is critical on most vessels." Tom looked at the readings. Over 300 ships carrying nearly 1 million refugees. All of them needed immediate repairs. "Get everyone up," he ordered Pete. "Call in every mechanic, every helper. Mary, start organizing the repair bays. We're going to need more space." Within an hour, the station was buzzing with activity. They converted cargo bays into repair areas and set up triage stations to assess which ships needed the most urgent help. "The atmospheric processors are failing on the largest ships first," Mary reported, checking her tablet. "We've got maybe 6 hours before they start losing air." Tom nodded grimly. "Regular procedures won't work. We need something faster." He stared at the station schematics, then snapped his fingers. "Pete, remember that old Earth cargo ship we scrapped last month? The one with the modular air filtering system?" "Yeah, we salvaged the parts. Get them all. We're going to modify them to work with alien tech." "Mary, find me every spare oxygen tank on the station. And somebody get me a welding torch," and he grinned. "A lot of duct tape." The next 12 hours were a blur of desperate innovation. They discovered that Earth's old filtering systems, designed to be simple and reliable, could be modified to work with almost any alien life support system. The refugees' advanced technology had failed because it was too complicated. Simpler human systems could keep working even when damaged. Tom's team worked nonstop, moving from ship to ship. They taught refugee crews how to make emergency repairs using basic tools. They improvised solutions using spare parts from a dozen different species technologies. When standard tools wouldn't work, they invented new ones. "The air filters are failing faster than we can fix them," a refugee engineer reported, panic in their voice. "Then we changed the game," Tom said. He sketched quickly on his tablet. "See these cargo bays? We can connect multiple ships to them, share life support between vessels. The healthy ships help the damaged ones." It was crazy, but it worked. They created a web of interconnected ships, using modified Earth technology to bridge the gaps between incompatible alien systems. Ships that would have died alone survived by working together. As hour 20 approached, Tom checked the final readings. Every ship had stable life support. They'd lost no one. The refugee fleet's leader, a tall being with crystalline skin, approached Tom. "You and your team have saved 1 million lives today, with nothing but..." They gestured at the makeshift repairs, basic tools, and creativity. Tom leaned against a wall, exhausted but smiling. "Sometimes the best solutions are the simple ones. Your ships are stable now, but they'll need proper repairs. We have time now, thanks to you," the leader said. "But I don't understand. How did you know all these different solutions would work?" "Because under all the fancy technology, the basic problems are always the same," Tom replied. "Air needs to flow. Power needs to transfer. Ships need to fly. Once you understand the basics, the rest is just details." Later, after the crisis had passed, Tom made his log entry. Station log. "Saved 1 million lives today. Used up our entire stock of duct tape. Worth it." 6 months after the refugee crisis, Station 47 looked very different. The refugee fleet had moved on to their new home, but they'd left something valuable behind: knowledge. Many of their engineers had stayed to both learn and teach, turning the repair station into something entirely new. Tom walked through the station's newest addition, a large teaching hall filled with both humans and aliens. At one end, Mary was showing a group of crystalline beings how to repair quantum drives using basic hand tools. At the other, a tall alien engineer demonstrated advanced scanning techniques to human mechanics. "Remember," Mary said to her class, holding up a simple wrench, "sometimes you can learn more by listening to an engine than by scanning it. Tools don't have to be complicated to be effective." One of the crystal beings raised an appendage. "But how do you know which sounds mean what?" "That's what we're here to learn," Mary smiled. "Today, we're going to listen to 10 different engine types. By the end of the class, you'll be able to tell them apart blindfolded." Tom moved through the station, watching these exchanges with pride. In another room, Pete was teaching a group of energy beings how to improvise repairs using salvaged parts. Meanwhile, 3 alien instructors were showing human mechanics how to read complex diagnostic systems. "The secret," Pete was saying, "is understanding that every part can serve multiple purposes. This piece of pipe, it's not just a pipe. It's potentially a support beam, a fluid conduit, or even a temporary power coupling. You just have to see the possibilities." The station now had a proper name: the Galactic Institute of Practical Engineering. Ships still came for repairs, but now they also came for knowledge. Every repair became a learning opportunity, with mixed teams of humans and aliens working together. Tom paused at a window, watching a group of students practicing repairs on an old shuttle. The team included beings from 6 different species, all working together, combining their different approaches to solve problems. "Quite a change from the old days," said a voice behind him. Tom turned to see the crystalline refugee leader, who had stayed on as an instructor. They had taken the human name Ray after learning about Earth's light physics. "Never thought I'd see the day," Tom admitted. "Advanced species learning our primitive methods, while we learn their technology. Everyone getting stronger together." "Your methods aren't primitive," Ray corrected. "They're fundamental. You understand the basic principles so well that you can adapt to any situation. That's what we're all learning here." In the main repair bay, a new ship had just docked, a vessel of living metal that had developed what its crew called a nervous condition. Tom watched as a mixed team of human and alien mechanics approached it. The humans listened to the ship's hull with simple stethoscopes, while their alien colleagues used quantum scanners. They compared notes, combining their observations to understand the problem from all angles. "See how the resonance pattern shifts," a human mechanic pointed out to her alien colleague. "Yes, and the quantum field readings confirm your observation," the alien responded excitedly. "Together, these tell us exactly where the problem is." Tom smiled at the exchange. This was what he'd always hoped for: not humans proving they were better, but everyone working together, learning from each other's strengths. Later that evening, Tom updated the station's log while watching ships come and go through his office window. Each vessel carried not just repaired systems, but new knowledge, spreading this combination of human ingenuity and alien technology across the galaxy. "Station log," he recorded. "Graduated our first class of mixed species mechanics today. They're heading out to start their own repair stations, combining the best of both worlds. Had to show them the importance of keeping a good stock of duct tape, of course. Some lessons are universal." As he finished the log, Tom could hear the sound of laughter, both human and alien, drifting up from the teaching hall. The future of repair work in the galaxy was changing, one lesson at a time. 10 years had passed since the first alien ship limped into Tom Walker's quiet repair station. Now, on his last day before retirement, he stood at the main observation deck of what had become known as the Walker Institute, the galaxy's premier center for practical engineering. The station had grown into a sprawling complex of repair bays, teaching halls, and research centers, Ships of every imaginable design moved smoothly between the docking ports, their crews a mix of species from across the galaxy. "Final inspection?" Mary asked, joining him at the window. She had grown from a new hire into the station's next director, her practical skills matched by her gift for teaching. "Just taking it all in," Tom replied, watching a crystal ship dock next to what looked like a living cloud of stardust. "Remember when we thought a second repair bay was a big expansion?" They walked together through the station's halls. In one bay, a young human mechanic was teaching a group of energy beings how to diagnose engine problems by touch. In another, alien engineers demonstrated advanced diagnostic techniques to human students. "Professor Walker, call the voice." A being made of swirling plasma floated over, its translator badge glowing. "I wanted to catch you before you left. Remember that trick you taught us about using sound waves to detect quantum fluctuations? We've developed it into a whole new field of diagnostic technology." Tom smiled. His simple method of listening to engines had evolved into something he barely understood now, but the basic principle remained the same. Trust your senses. Understand the fundamentals. They reached the main repair bay, where Pete was supervising a complex repair. The ship looked like a giant metallic whale, its surface rippling with patterns of light. "Having trouble?" Tom asked, noting the puzzled expressions on the repair team's faces. "This one's got us stumped," Pete admitted. "The biomechanical interface is showing patterns we've never seen before." Tom pulled out his old flashlight, the same one he'd used on that first alien ship all those years ago. "Mind if I take one last look?" The team stepped back respectfully as Tom walked around the ship, tapping here and there, listening carefully. Despite all the advanced technology now available, he still trusted his basic tools and senses the most. "Check the power flow through section C7, he suggested. "Sounds like you've got a feedback loop in the neural network. Probably started when they upgraded their quantum core last month." The team quickly confirmed his diagnosis. As they began repairs, Tom heard one alien engineer whisper to another, "How does he do that? 10 years studying here, and I still can't match his intuition." "It's not magic," Tom told them. "It's experience. Understanding the basics. Everything in the universe follows patterns. Once you learn to see them, the rest is just details." At the end of the day, the station's staff gathered in the main hall. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions came to wish Tom farewell. The hall was decorated with tools from dozens of worlds, some so advanced they seemed like magic, others as simple as a wrench. Mary stepped up to make a speech. 10 years ago, humanity wondered what we could offer to a galaxy full of advanced civilizations. Tom showed us that sometimes the simplest solutions are the best ones. His legacy isn't just this station. It's the thousands of repair stations across the galaxy now combining human ingenuity with advanced technology. Tom looked around at the faces, human and alien, that had become his family. "I just fixed ships," he said modestly. "You all did the real work, learning from each other, growing together." As the celebration continued, Tom made his final log entry. Station log. Final entry. Retiring today. The station's in good hands. Mary knows to keep the duct tape supplies well stocked. He paused, looking out at the stars. Who would have thought that humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy would be teaching everyone how to fix things? Sometimes the best solutions really are the simple ones. Outside the station's windows, ships continued to arrive, each one carrying beings eager to learn the art of practical problem-solving that humans had perfected over centuries. Tom Walker's little repair station had changed the galaxy, one fixed ship at a time.